I don't know how many of you have heard the messages before, but I would like to know who has not heard about the messages and is for the first time here. Can you please raise your hand? So half of you are newcomers. I'm asking this because I would like to know what to say, and especially the beginning. I have to introduce more in the beginning. So for the others that know my story, please be patient if you've heard it perhaps several times. Now, let me tell you, the messages are 12 years old and a half now, and for 3 years in the beginning, nobody knew about them, just my family and a few close friends. Jesus dictated to me the Father and our Blessed Mother every day, every single day for hours. For me, it was very new, these things. As I was far away from the church, I didn't bother to know what the church gives, what the church offers. If I would have been a follower, I would have known that God in our times intervenes, even now. But ignorant as I was, I never knew that God in our times, that's why I kept saying in those books you'll find when I was hearing God's voice, but we are in 1987. You know, how come you're speaking to us? Because I had no idea that God gives gifts, charisms, for the benefit of the church. And locution is one of them. To hear the voice, the interior voice of God, is one gift. But when God gives a gift, a charism, it is to be used for the benefit of the church. It is not that I should stay home and profit from it and just a few friends around me. No, he sees to it that this will go around the world. And so it has. But I could have never imagined back there in 1985, living in Bangladesh, in a country which is Muslim, I never heard that these things are happening in our times, that God speaks in certain ways to people which he chooses. And yet I had another problem too. I knew it was happening to me. I knew the angel was there speaking to me. I heard him. My hand was moved by him, pushed so that I write. I could see him interiorly. I knew these things were happening, and I was always surprised every day more, saying, why me? You come to me who never prayed, who never loved you, who never prayed or went to church. How is it possible that you come to someone who didn't care for you? I thought that you always are speaking to nuns, to people who love you, who have been faithful to you. This is the way I thought God always acted. And for the rest who didn't care, well, they were out, kind of. No. All these images, false images I had in my mind were shattered. Now, the True Life in God messages are like a school. It is not just, as we say, a message from God who tells you to pray, live holy, and pray certain prayers and fast, and that's it. No, there are teachings. It's a developed spirituality, it's a Trinitarian spirituality, it's a contemplative spirituality. I was amazed that the Carmelite nuns all around the world were so attached to the True Life in God messages, and often when I go to countries, there's 1 or 2 convents of Carmelites that invite me to hear. And I ask them, why are you interested and not other orders, you know, Benedictines, as much as the Carmelites? And then they smiled and they said, well, it's because it's just like our order. It's a contemplative spirituality and an intimate spirituality with God, intimacy with God. And that is the best of bests, I can tell you, if you can say in English, best of bests, but it is the best thing that you can obtain is if you are given the grace to become intimate with God, so intimate that one day, while you're speaking to your friends about God, your tongue will slip and you will say, Dad, my dad. Not even father, dad. And that has gone around the world. In my language, which is Greek, it's very similar to the Hebrew word, which is Abba. We say, oh, babas, something, papa in French, papa. I have difficulty when I speak quickly about God in my own language. It slips always, and I say, oh, babas. It comes like that, quickly in my mouth. And we know from scriptures that St. Paul even said, the Spirit will make you say, call out to your Father, Abba. And that means in an intimate way. So these messages are really precious because it leads you into this life of intimacy with God. There are people who speak about God all their life, preach about God, but never met God in this intimate way, and therefore do not understand God. When you meet him intimately, you will start understanding God, and you will feel this familiar relationship, the very special relationship that you will have with God. And it's precious, because once you obtain this, your whole life will change. It's not just a simple conversion, but it will lead you to where God wants you to be led, in his heart, completely in his heart. And your mind then and thoughts will be constantly searching heavenly things, up in heaven, while your body still will be walking among men. That means you will be living the completion of the Our Father while you're still on earth. That means your kingdom in heaven, let it, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You will start thinking the way God thinks. Because in scriptures it says, let your thoughts be like the mind of Christ, transformed completely, so that your acts will be like those of Christ, your thoughts like the thoughts of Christ. It leads you there. Now, this is the beginning of the messages, but this is the most powerful passages of the message, this intimacy.